Hi traders, welcome to my video on the Waka Waka EA. So this is an expert advisor or trading robot which has been developed to run in the MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms. Here I'm using the MT4 platform. Okay, I've already installed the Waka Waka EA. I'll show you how you do that. You just basically go to the top menu, File, Open Data Folder, okay, MQL4 experts, and just copy and paste, or drag and drop the Waka Waka EA into this folder here. Okay, once it's in there, you'll be able to load it onto your charts, and here in the strategy tester window. Okay, in this strategy tester window, this is where you can run tests of expert advisors. So we'll just run a quick test. We'll do the last 10 years and we will use the default settings. So let's click start. This is here you can choose the symbol. So we're running a test at the moment on the euro dollar time frame. I've chosen the 1 hour chart. Okay, I prefer to trade 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly charts simply because they contain more price data, and therefore I find signals tend to be more reliable. But there is a setting in the Waka Waka EA where you can choose the time frame that it uses for the calculation of various technical indicators that it utilizes within its trading strategy. So the model, so we're using every tick, which is the most precise method of testing in the MT4 platform. Okay, this will give us 90% modeling quality. You can achieve 99% modeling quality if you want to download a third-party testing software. Okay, Burt's Tick Data Suite being a popular option. In spread, I've chosen current, so this is just going to use the current market spread. Keep in mind that if you test on the weekend, chances are the current spread will be quite high, so the results will be different and perhaps not as accurate in terms of spread than if you were testing during the week. Okay, but that being said, variable spreads is the best way to test any strategy. But again, you need a third-party trading software to do that, implemented within your MetaTrader 4 platform. Okay, so for the dates, as I said, we've selected the last 10 years here, and we're just running a test. As you can see, a nice upwards curve there. This goes to show that this expert advisor has good potential. Okay, obviously keeping in mind this is based on historical data and is of course no guarantee what will happen moving forward. But there are verified accounts that you can see shared by the developer on MyFX book, which you can also see shared on their website. They have impressive results over around, I think, about 5 or 6 years, even more by the time you're watching this, of historical data, okay, showing real live verified performance, which is a good way to gauge the potential of any Forex robot. As you can see, this backtest is still running. Nice upwards curve. Past 10 years, using the default settings provided by the developer on the 1 hour chart time frame on the euro dollar. And there we go. So you can see we finished. Great results on our test there. 90% modeling quality, every tick testing. You know, over 4,000 trades. So that's a big data set and impressive performance. We of course have our report, which will just show you the stats in terms of profitable trades, 75% profitable trades, which is fantastic. Okay, profit factor here, 1.47. Very good. So overall, I think it's safe to say that this performs well based on back testing using the default settings. I do appreciate that a lot of you probably would like to experiment with settings as well. If you don't worry, you can use the default settings. At least I think it would be good to be aware of the risk here. So we were just running a low risk setting there. You have medium risk, significant risk, and high risk. Okay, or you can maintain control with using a fixed lot as well and just set your lot value here. Okay, but by default it's set to low risk. You can of course change it according to your trading preferences, as everyone is different. And there are plenty of other options. If I just scroll down, and look at all those settings. I mean, the developer is really helpful. They'll be happy to help explain any of these settings to you, although there are also instructions included which go through everything. And as I said, you don't have to play around with these settings if you don't want to. You can just use the defaults. Keep in mind the developer has spent years, building and testing this Waka Waka EA. So more often than not, you'll find that the developer settings are the best performing, historically speaking. But for argument's sake, you can test other settings. You can change anything. For example, the time frame. This is the working time frame for the Bollinger Bands and RSI. So you can change that to the current time frame, the 1 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour, daily, weekly, whatever you want. Okay, and just compare how the results are. Okay, so what I would do is optimize various settings. So if we just go down, let's optimize the time frame. So we'll optimize from the current time frame all the way through to the 1 month. So we'll optimize that. We'll optimize reverse strategy, open opposite trade. Let's see what else. Let's start from the top. So this is basically your position sizing, maximum spread, maximum slippage. Okay, allow hedging, we'll optimize that, true or false. Basically, when you put a checkbox next to any setting, okay, you can you're just saying you want to optimize that setting, and you start from this value up to this value. Okay, in this case being true or false, but there are other ones, such as, let's just have a look at the RSI period, for example. If you select that, you can see the default period is 20, but then you can put, okay, I want to test 10, 20, and 30 for the RSI. So for that, you would just put the start as 10. So that's where you're going to start the optimization. You're going to go up in 10. That's the step. And then you're going to stop at 30. So this will do an RSI period test of 10, 20, and 30. So it just run a combination using those RSI values and just combine with anything else that you test. So we can do, shall we do the Bollinger Bands? Yeah, we'll just say 20, we'll go up in 15 and we'll stop in 35. So this will just test 20 and 35. Okay. And for the daily EMA, should we experiment with that? So 0 would be disabled. So we'll do 0, 35. No, we won't. We'll do 0, 10, and we'll just go up to 50. Just, where's the setting gone now? Daily EMA says 0. Actually, we'll do 0, 14. 28, 42. I'm gonna go to 42. So we'll test 0, which is disabled. Then we'll test 14, 28, and 42. Ideally, I'd want to test 14, 35, 50, and 200. However, we're limited to what we can do with the steps, so we'll just do that for argument's sake. So basically, every time you're selecting a setting, what you're doing is you're telling the strategy tester we're going to combine, we want a combination of all these settings. Let's just have a look. Are there any other settings we want? I mean, this EA has probably got more settings than I've ever seen from any EA. It's really customizable, which is great, obviously, because you can experiment and adjust it according to your own trading preferences. Or, as I said, you can use it straight out of the box. Just make sure you adjust the risk to your preferred value. You can obviously control drawdown as well. Plenty of money management features here. I mean, it does seem overwhelming at first, but when you read through them, they are self-explanatory. You've even got FDMO or other prop firm features in here as well, because the EA can be used for trying to pass prop firm challenges, provided your prop firm allows automated trading. This is a fully automated trading strategy. So you can do the hours to trade, the days to trade. Okay. If you want to close trades at certain times. Very impressive amount of effort has gone into this expert advisor. I do think it is one of the leading EAs on the market. I mean, in the years that I've spent testing various EAs and reviewing them, this is one which has probably got the one of the longest track records in terms of verified results. The developer is very helpful. Lots of good feedback from users. And even for those of you who are more advanced and experienced, I think you're going to find hours and hours and hours of enjoyment playing around with the settings here. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you managed to create your own impressive set file. Okay, so just going through the settings here, see if there's anything else we want to adjust. It's even got a news filter in here, so high, medium, or low impact news. You know, trade drawing holidays. Everything you'd really need in an EA is included. Comments, magic numbers, all the usual stuff. Right, so we've selected a few different settings. We'll optimize these. We'll go over the last 10 years, but we'll do open prices only, otherwise it will be here forever. So we click the optimization button and click start. Okay. And what the EA will do now, the strategy tester of MT4, will go through each combination of settings. Okay, and then show us what the results are. So with allow hedging false, allow hedging true. Okay, working time frame 30 minutes or current, different Bollinger Bands period, different RSI periods. It just combines all of those settings that we check the boxes of. Okay, and then it gives us the results of all the various combinations. And the purpose of doing this is we're going to try and see if we can better the developer's default settings. Okay. And already, you know, we've only had 9 passes, and we can still see there are good results coming through. It will tell you the total profit, how many trades were taken, the profit factor, okay, the drawdown. So you can filter the results according to what's important for you. If drawdown's the most important, you can filter by drawdown. You know, if you're not too fussed about drawdown, you can sort by profit. Okay. If profit factor is what matters most to you, you can sort by the profit factor. Okay. I don't always take the top result. I might want something with a high profit, but then I'll look at, okay, what's the highest but also has a low drawdown. Okay. And you can actually configure the strategy tester to filter results according to your own preferences. Okay, and I do have, if you right click, I've got skip useless results checked. So basically any negative results will just be discarded and won't be displayed here, because otherwise it can just end up a bit too cluttered. Okay, so we'll just let that optimization run for a minute. Whilst that's running, you can see like this is the last 10 years of data, so it's going to take a while. And this is open prices only as well, which is the fastest method. So you could only imagine how long it would take if you're using every tick. Okay, it's going to take a long, long time. You know, sometimes if I'm testing an expert advisor, I'll either leave it running on my machine overnight during the weekend, or on my VPS, I'll just have it be running multiple optimizations on there. And sometimes I can leave them for days on end, just, you know, running a long optimization to see which results we can discover. If you look at this chart here, this is the Waka Waka EA in action. So this is the trades that it places. And this is perhaps the one thing about it that not all traders may be happy with. And that's basically that it uses a grid and martingale strategy. So what that means is if it takes a wrong trade, like you see this sell trade here, okay, the market moves up against it. What it will do is it will then place another sell trade. So when the market turns around, it will close both positions. It would try to close both positions in profit. So it does that by using a larger lot size on the second trade or the third trade, etc. And by placing multiple orders to basically track price. So if you're not familiar with what martingale is, it's just increasing your lot size to make up for losing positions. and a grid to almost just trap the price. So whichever way it goes, you're going to be in profit, or at least break even, just get out of trouble. The problem with this is if the market continues in that direction and you keep opening positions, you can get caught on a wrong side of a move up. Like, see here when the market dropped, okay, you had this buy trade here, market dropped, so it bought another trade, market dropped, it bought another trade, and thankfully the market did rise back up, so it managed to close overall in a decent position. However, if the market had kept dropping here, it would have kept buying, okay, and holding on to losing positions, okay, until the market eventually turned around. And if the market doesn't turn around, and the settings aren't optimal for that particular market scenario, then it can cause significant drawdowns, okay? So just be wary of that. It's not a strategy for everyone. However, as I said, all the settings are fully customizable, and there's so many different things you can amend in terms of, the drawdown, the take profit, the stop loss, the exit criteria, the entry criteria, trading days, trading times. There's literally anything you can think of, which means even with a strategy like this, you can still cap the loss, okay? For example, if you weren't sure if you wanted a martingale or grid system, but you were happy to risk, 5% overall on it, you can set the EA so a maximum worst case scenario would be 5%. Okay, and if you're a high risk trader, of course, you can just trade as you please. Like, here's an example: the market's heading up, selling, but then it does eventually turn around and close in a favorable position. And a good thing about this, to be fair, is you can see here where you see where these dips are is when loads of positions were opened. Well, not loads, but multiple positions to try and recover from drawdown, and it did every time here. And this is over 4,000 trades. So it's not just fluke or coincidence. It just doesn't just get lucky. There is obviously logic behind the trades that it's taken. Okay, so it's not just randomly buying and selling, hoping that with a grid and martingale strategy it will eventually trap the price. There are indicators being used to analyze the market to time the entry. Okay, so there is an edge to it and a reason behind the initial entry criteria. You can see our optimization is still running here. Any EA can have losses, whether it's a non-martingale or non-grid or grid and martingale. Any trading strategy can suffer losses. So, if you're not happy with losses, then definitely, I would say trading isn't for you, full stop. However, as I said, you can check the verified results on the developer's website just to get an idea of historical performance, and just weigh up your options that way. They do offer as well a free trial. There's a free trial of the EA, so you can run it for a few weeks, see if it meets your particular needs. Okay. This optimization is going to take ages, okay? So I'm going to stop it. And we're going to go to the results, and we'll filter them by profit and see what we got, okay? And, well, that's not bad at all. However, the drawdown is quite high. So then we've got this one, second set of results. It's still a high profit factor above 1.5. That's good. Okay, drawdown 20%, acceptable for me. Double click, and when you double click, what will happen is the results, the settings for those results will then be loaded into the EA inputs here, okay? So, and you can always save, just click the save button and, Waka Waka EA set file test 1 or whatever you want to call it. So when you come back to the strategy tester later, or you want to load the EA on your charts with that set file, you can just load it conveniently here. Okay, so we double clicked, so we loaded those settings, and if we just run a test with those settings, we can see, just to confirm them, and there you go. Okay, so almost 6,000 trades, so a couple thousand more than the developer's default settings. Okay, good statistics overall, but we are using open prices only. We'd want to run it on every tick to confirm the settings. Okay, as I said, open prices only is for rough testing like this. It takes long enough with open prices only. So once you've got a good set file, make sure you run it on every tick just to confirm those results. Okay. Under this tab, when you go to the expert properties, okay, if you go to the testing tab, you can choose the deposit used for the testing. Okay, the positions if you want to go long and short, or long, or just short. Interestingly, under the inputs as well of the Waka Waka EA, there is an option to buy and sell, or just buy only and sell only. Okay, you can of course check that box to optimize that as well if you like. Back under the testing tab, this is what I was talking about, the optimization. Okay, so the parameter we were optimizing for is balance, basically looking for the best results. We're telling the strategy tester to focus on balance, but we also have genetic algorithm selected. Okay, and so what this does is basically the strategy tester will combine what it thinks would give the best results from the settings we've optimized. So for all the settings where we have a checkbox on, it won't necessarily run every single combination. If it thinks that combination isn't going to give good results, it will just bin it off. Whereas if you uncheck that, it will do every single combination. So as you can imagine how long it was taking with this checked, and open prices is going to take even longer with this unchecked, because it will run every single pass, okay? Every possible combination. Under the optimization tab, when I was saying about you can filter results, so if you only want results that have a maximum drawdown of 20, you can just put 20 in there, and then it doesn't stay there for some reason. Okay, I don't know why it's not staying there. I don't ever use this setting. Maybe that's why. Oh, there you go. 20, so maximal drawdown. If you have it set, if you have this checked and that's set to 20, it will basically mean that the results we see under optimization will only include those that have a drawdown 20 or less. Okay, so just like filtering your optimization results, if you like. I don't do that just because sometimes I might see something that I perhaps wasn't looking for, but it can just give me an idea for testing moving forward. Okay, I do have a video as well on optimization in the MT4 platform, which goes into it in slightly more detail. Perhaps you can get some ideas from that. But going back to this test here, it was open prices only. One thing you need to be careful of is over optimization. Okay, this is not just unique to the Waka Waka EA. This applies to all expert advisors. What can happen is you can over optimize. And what that basically means is it's also known as curve fitting. It means that you're basically throwing together as many combination of settings as possible until you find something that produces good results based on the data set that you have given it. The data set in this instance is the past 10 years historical data on the euro dollar 1 hour chart. Okay, so one could argue that there's actually no logic behind the combination of settings other than this is just what has randomly produced good results over the past 10 years on this data set. Okay, so yeah, you've got try to avoid curve fitting. Always verify your settings just to make sure there's some logic behind them. It's not just throwing enough what at the wall and hoping some sticks. But as I said, there is logic behind the trading algorithm implemented within the EA, and I think perhaps the his biggest the thing that makes it work well is the martingale and grid elements of it, which is also the thing that can make it perhaps not suitable for some traders who aren't familiar with that type of trading strategy. Okay, but as I said, verified results, the developer can answer any questions you may have, and you can just have some fun testing as well. I mean, you can use the default settings, or you can just do what I've done there and just play around with settings. If that's the past 10 years, you might even just want to go to, okay, let's just test, let's just optimize for this year. So check optimization again. Click run, and then it will just give us the various results using different combinations for this year as well, okay? Until you find something that's perhaps suited to your trading style. Bearing in mind, again, you can run into curve fitting territory, over optimization territory, which is perhaps even more so the smaller the data set that you're testing on. You know, if you're testing on a 1 year data set, you know, the settings, in my opinion, aren't going to be as reliable as if you're testing on the 10 years like we did just now, because you've got a bigger data set. I mean, that 10 years, it may be, you know, over optimized, but then there are over 6,000 trades. So, you know, I think the longer the time period you can test, the better, in my opinion. And also settings as well. Don't forget, there's so many different settings. Like I just randomly chose a few earlier in the video, but there's so many other things that, you know, the hours to trade, days to trade, maximum drawdown, all sorts of things you can experiment with. Okay, perhaps your broker doesn't allow hedging, so straight away you could set that to false, you know, and then run a test with that and other settings as well. Okay, so it's fully customizable. You don't have to use it as it is out of the box, but you can. If you just like to tinker and you want to have a play around with it, there, you know, you can spend hours, days, weeks experimenting with it. Just go careful not to over optimize, as I said. And yeah, the developer's default settings for me, you know, based on my testing, we're producing good results over historical data. Okay. If you want to know more, and if you want to see the latest verified results or ask a developer a question or even download a copy for free, you can use the link in the description. Okay, if you have any other questions, please feel free to fire away in the comments and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Do appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.